Holly Reynolds thought she was driving to Aspen to prepare her quiet mountain cabin for renters. Instead, she opened the front door and found her sister-in-law drinking expensive wine on her dead aunt's sofa, while planning an engagement party inside a house she secretly believed would soon belong to her. The music stopped when Holly walked in, not because anyone respected her, because they realized too late whose name was actually on the deed. And 48 hours later, with a sheriff standing beside her and 23 stunned guests watching in silence, Holly finally opened the leather folder her aunt left behind, the one document powerful enough to destroy 4 years of manipulation in under 60 seconds. My name is Holly Reynolds. I'm 34 years old, and for most of my career, I designed dream homes for other people. Glass walls, mountain lodges, lakeside retreats with heated stone floors, and kitchens bigger than my first apartment. But the hardest house I ever had to defend was my own. The cabin sat outside Aspen, at the end of a winding dirt road, hidden behind pine trees and silence. My Aunt Margaret left it to me when she died in 2021. Every board inside that place carried my fingerprints. I restored the kitchen myself, sanded the floors by hand, rebuilt the fireplace stone by stone during one brutal October. To everyone else, it looked like a beautiful mountain home. To me, it was proof that something in my life belonged only to me. That mattered more than people realized. Especially my husband's family. The Reynolds family operated on assumptions. Nothing was ever said directly. Decisions appeared already made, wrapped in smiles and casseroles. "Just letting you know" was their favorite phrase. It never meant information. It meant permission had already been taken. My mother-in-law Patricia mastered that system years before I met her. She spoke softly, smiled often, and treated boundaries like decorative suggestions. And her youngest daughter Belle had inherited every inch of that talent. Belle was 26, newly engaged, beautiful in the exhausting way some women become when nobody has ever told them no for long enough. 9 days after her engagement, Patricia suddenly became obsessed with finding a classy venue for the celebration. I should have noticed the sign sooner. The Thursday dinner questions, the strange pauses, the way Belle texted constantly under the table whenever Aspen came up. But I was busy. I had deadlines, clients, a lodge project in Vail, real life. Meanwhile, my cabin was quietly becoming somebody else's future inheritance. I just didn't know it yet. Friday morning, I drove to Aspen for a scheduled walkthrough with a rental company. I planned to lease the cabin through winter to a quiet long-term tenant. When I turned onto the dirt road, I immediately knew something was wrong. Fresh tire tracks, multiple cars, music echoing through the trees. I parked beside Belle's white Audi and sat motionless behind the steering wheel for 15 seconds. Then I walked inside my own house. Belle was stretched across my aunt's green sofa, with a glass of wine balanced casually in her hand. Patricia's sister sat nearby. A cousin scrolled through her phone at the kitchen island. Belle's fiancé Trevor stood awkwardly beside an open bottle of Brunello I'd been saving for my husband's birthday. And on my dining table sat a handwritten calendar. 4 months blocked out in red marker. Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's weekend, family visits, and Sundays circled with a heart. Belle plus Trevor engagement party. I stared at it. Nobody even looked guilty. Belle smiled first. "Oh good, you're here." We were just planning some details. I asked the only thing that mattered. "Who gave you permission to be here?" Belle laughed. "My mother allowed it," she said. Then came the sentence that changed everything. "This house will be mine eventually anyway. Not maybe, not someday, eventually." Like ownership was already decided. Something inside me went completely still after that. I didn't scream, didn't argue, didn't defend myself. I simply photographed everything. The wine bottle, the calendar, the guests, the cars outside, the decorations. Then I looked directly at Trevor. "This cabin belongs to me," I told him calmly, "not Belle." The confusion on his face told me one important thing immediately. He had been lied to too. I left without another word, because anger is loud. Paperwork is quieter, and much more dangerous. On the drive home, I called my aunt's attorney for the first time in 5 years. Then I opened the leather folder Margaret left me. Inside was the deed proving sole ownership, and beneath it, a handwritten letter in fountain pen. One line changed how I understood everything. "This cabin is for Holly, for her quiet when she needs it. I write this because my own sister-in-law took my home in 1979 with smiles and casseroles. I will not allow that to happen twice." Margaret had seen this story before, long before I did. That night, my husband Mark finally admitted something that mattered. His mother had asked repeatedly when he planned to put the cabin into both our names after we married. And every single time he avoided answering clearly because he didn't want conflict. That silence cost us both. By Saturday, Belle had already created a public Facebook event, calling the property the Reynolds Family Mountain Home. 23 guests confirmed attendance, pastor included, caterers booked. Flowers arriving Sunday. Patricia truly believed momentum could overpower ownership. She underestimated one thing. My aunt prepared me before she died. Sunday afternoon, I drove back to Aspen with a sheriff's deputy and legal eviction papers. The party was already underway when we arrived. Champagne on ice, gold decorations, soft orchestral music. Belle wearing white. Patricia greeting guests like queen of the estate she didn't own. Then the deputies stepped inside in full uniform. The entire room went silent. Patricia's smile collapsed first. Belle's collapsed second. My husband stood beside me while the deputy unfolded the paperwork and read aloud, "This property is owned solely by Holly Reynolds." You could feel the room physically changing as those words landed. People stepped backward. Guests avoided eye contact. Trevor's parents stopped smiling entirely. Then came the question that destroyed the illusion for good. Trevor looked directly at Belle and asked quietly, "Did you tell me this cabin belonged to you?" Belle froze. Because lies sound much weaker once spoken in front of witnesses. One by one the guests started leaving. Pastor Henderson left next. Trevor and his parents walked outside in silence. Even Patricia's own sister grabbed her purse and disappeared without defending her. And for the first time in 4 years, my husband said the words his mother should have heard long ago. Holly is the owner. Not emotionally, not basically, not family-wise. Owner. Simple, clean, true. Belle cried. Patricia tried guilt, then excuses, then emotional stories about losing her own home years earlier. But none of it mattered anymore, because a boundary spoken too softly becomes an invitation, and I was finally done inviting people to erase me inside my own life. By sunset, the cabin was empty. The locks were changed. The moose carving my aunt loved was back where it belonged. And the leather folder sat on my lap during the drive home like a quiet reminder. Some people inherit houses. Others inherit warnings. Margaret gave me both.